We're going to call the meeting to order. It is Saturday at 2 o'clock. It's March 14th, 2020. And this is an emergency meeting, and we're here to discuss some things that are going on in the county on the coronavirus, and also declaring a state of emergency for Tillamook County. And then we've got some updates of what we want to do with the courthouse and then some input from folks. So let's start off by I see some new faces here. Do we want to go around the table and introduce ourselves? Okay.
Mary Faith Bell, Tillamook County Commissioner.
Chris Lady, Director of Public Works.
Gordon McCraw, Tillamook County Emergency Management.
Jim Horton, Sheriff. Troy Peterson, Tillamook County Pioneer.
Kelly Benson, Tillamook County Pioneer.
Joel Stevens, Tillamook County Council.
Kevin Jolly, Maintenance Supervisor.
Naomi Roundtree, Tillamook County Director of HR.
Bill Porter, DA.
Sean Blanchard, County Treasurer.
Michael Rice, Tillamook County Secretary.
Rachel Hardy, Commissioner Chief of Staff.
Sarah Troughton, Director of Library.
Sarah Absher, Director of Community Development.
Logan Lansky, Precinct Committee Person.
Tassie O'Neill, Tillamook County Clerk.
Denise Van de Koevering, Assessor and Tax Collector.
Dave Yamamoto, Board of County Commissioners.
Bill Bartline, County Commissioner.
Star Felty, Juvenile Director.
Emily
Hellman, TCA Circuit Court.
Cody Manuel.
Oh, Tony's here. Oh, God. Cody, not Tony.
All right, Trevino, Presiding Judge.
Judge, did you want to move up to the table? Oh, 3 feet it is. Gotcha. Okay, so probably the first thing is to go through the declaration of emergency. It's resolution number 20-005. Gordon helped draft this. Gordon, did you want to go over it a little bit? It's the standards.
Well, I typed it up a few days back in preparation for when we had an actual case, but obviously we're modifying it to get it going. Basically, you want me to just read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the matter came before the Tillamook County Board of Commissioners March 14th. Board of Commissioners, being fully apprised of the record files herein, finds the following. The coronavirus, COVID-19, is expanding worldwide. County resources will be needed to respond to the threat to keep the public as safe as possible. Resources related to tracing, disease investigation and prevention, continuity of operations, public information, and funding are expected to be exhausted. The following additional conditions have resulted in the need for the declaration of a local state of emergency. The Tillamook County Board of Commissioners, under the emergency powers granted by ORS 401.305, declared that the local state of emergency exists within Tillamook County. To protect the health of Tillamook County employees, the Human Resource Department may issue emergency rules of guidance on the use of sick leave, telework, and other policies that shall be in effect only for the duration of the emergency. The resolution directs the Office of Emergency Management of Tillamook County to take all necessary steps authorized by law to coordinate response and recovery from the emergency, including but not limited to requesting assistance and potential reimbursements from the state of Oregon and the appropriate federal authorities. The declaration of state of emergency shall expire on April 1, 2020.
So we need to do this to get some federal granting, and AOC has recommended that we go ahead and get it done now and before we have an event in the county. And things seems to be unraveling quite fast. Multnomah County closed their library. Creamery Crook closed the visitor's office. A lot of our restaurants downtown are seeing an impact. I've eaten out twice in the last 2 days, and both times they've said business is way down. So I believe it's here, even though we haven't seen it. It's got to be lurking around somewhere. So, there's Damien. The discussion with the board on the resolution.
I completely support it, and we had a teleconference with the Association of Oregon Counties yesterday talking about virus response, and the AOC attorney said that there's no benefit to waiting until we actually have a confirmed case, that statewide all the counties will be declaring.
And I would concur, it's time. We talked about doing this yesterday at the emergency meeting, but I don't think we had a copy since Rachel and Joel were both gone yesterday afternoon. But we were planning on doing it Monday, but things, again, are just changing so quickly. They are. So it's just time for us to do this.
Okay. So, ready for a motion?
So, Joel.
I would, after the April 1 deadline, I would just recommend we add the sentence, if extended by this board. So the resolution goes until April 1st unless it's extended by this board. So then you have the discretion to extend it later if you choose.
So you want to do that in addition to this?
Yeah, you can go ahead and vote on it,
Okay.
just subject to that amendment. And
Okay.
we can add it.
Very good. Any other discussion?
No, any other discussion? Do I have a second?
Do we have a second?
To your motion, will you add the,
So I guess I need to move it first, right?
Yeah.
Didn't do that. Okay, so, Mr. Chair, it's not Wednesday, so I'm just not used to doing this. Mr. Chair, in the matter of declaring a local state of emergency within Tillamook County, resolution number R20-005, with an amendment as stated by Joel Stevens, our county council, I would move approval.
I second.
I have a motion and second to approve resolution number R20-005 with the amendment. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. So part of what we're doing today also is looking at the procedures and where we're going to go Monday morning with the library closure in Multnomah County. I believe our thought, let's get a report from Sarah on what happened at your meeting today.
I'm ready to attend our meeting today. After Multnomah County closed yesterday, all Washington County libraries have closed, Corvallis is closed, only Deschutes County is still open. Newport Public Library is closed, Lincoln City Library is closed. And we had by last night at 10 o'clock, we knew it was time to move in that direction. So what we're going to do is we're going to close system-wide, but staff can come to work because there's so much we can do behind the scenes. I called Christensen Cleaning to talk to them about going out to the branches and doing a deep clean at the branches because I have a cleaner here in Tillamook, but not at the branches, and they kind of get clean, but not much. And we'll work and have staff development, all kinds of things in the next 2 weeks. And the library board voted yes through March 31st, and then once again, in case we need to go further. And we're going to advertise our virtual branch. Hoopla, who Bill Porter mentioned yesterday, it's a limit of 4. We're going to up it to 20. Our Canopy, which is our documentaries, we're going to up that to 20. We've been testing online magazines. We're going to buy that immediately on Monday so everyone can get to the magazines. And of course, we have another database that has 500 encyclopedias for students to do their research on. So we're going to advertise all that as much as we can. And we've already contacted staff to say, be aware this is happening. And then we're ready to put it on our website the minute this meeting is over. So we're ready to roll.
Okay. So the other thing that we're looking at and is more of having the community have to make an appointment to come in to see anybody in the county departments. In other words, they would have to call up and say, we need to come in to see you for such and such an event. We would close the north entrance to the courthouse, but leave the south entrance open and have security staff there. Anybody with the court, circuit court, or justice court automatically comes in through that door. And then they would check to see if they had appointments with staff in the courthouse. If they do, they'll let them through. If they don't, they'll give the phone number and they can call in and make an appointment or at least check with you to see if it's planned or not.
We'll have to let anybody in, though, that claims to have any interest in any ongoing court case.
Yeah, no, anything with the court.
Not just defendants, but even
No, everybody,
jurors.
the jurors, everybody gets access. No questions asked. All they do is say, we need to see justice court, we need to see the DA, we need to see circuit court.
Juvenile.
You're fine. Juvenile, you're fine. Go on in and they can get the departments. We're not restricting that at all. That's not in our purview. We can't do it. It's illegal, most likely.
Yeah,
I don't want Mari throwing me in jail.
About
public court hearings. The, I've already put up my sign, it's basically, common.
Okay.
Yeah, and to be clear, the messaging is not we're closing the courthouse, it's that we're restricting access to the public for county departments as a safety measure.
So do we lock the doors or not lock the doors?
The south entrance, it would be open.
So it's still wide open?
I believe it would be wide
Yeah.
open.
Okay.
But there's a deputy there, hopefully,
Screening
who's
people.
screening to the degree that we can for the county departments.
Also, the handicap entrance downstairs?
Has to be
Need to
available.
be open.
That's open. But I mean, the hallway, the elevator, all of that will be available. It's just that we're trying to funnel everybody through one door and then kind of sort them as they come through.
And we're really trying to encourage the public to stay home and use their phones, because we want people to not to be out and about exposing themselves and each other.
Commissioner.
Mr. Chair, so I would ask the sheriff, do we have sufficient resources to man the south door and find a way to limit access through the basement door?
Well, we certainly would retask the court security deputy here at the courthouse to be at that post. I would imagine that the attendance in circuit court is going to be limited. And again, people are going to be stating what their business is here. So we can certainly fill that role. I would recommend that we put something on the basement door. We lock the basement door and provide a phone number to the court security deputy so we can open that if needed.
Okay.
Essentially make an appointment, not restricting handicap access, but
Call us and we'll let you in.
call us and we'll let you
Okay.
in, is what I would recommend.
I have a public concern. Is that appropriate for now?
Mm-hmm.
In the case of disability access, not everyone has a cell phone. Should we provide a phone or easier form of access if they do show up at the door wanting to come in?
So, Mr. Chair, do we have a buzzer system that we could put in down there? Someone could ring a buzzer, and we've got cameras down there so we could view who's down there. Damien, do we have anything like that available?
There was an old system there that you pushed that went up to control. I don't know if any of that stuff is still stuck in a wall or not.
No, I think we could probably
Jury
something maybe,
Yeah.
but do we have anything though? So if you're asking me to come up with something, we could try.
Okay, so
Isn't there, at Rosenberg, you could probably get the wireless doorbell?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
they're
I
cheap.
mean, we can come up with something. But
So starting Monday morning, I think that door will have to remain unlocked, but if we could come up with something as soon as possible so that we can lock it, and then just people push a buzzer and then we have access to what they want, and yeah,
Kevin,
I think that would be good.
what do you think? Yeah, we can figure something out.
Kevin, thank you.
Kind of technology, I guess.
Sarah?
So I have been, because we are not here in the building, and we do get, we are susceptible to quite a bit of foot traffic. Mike and I talked last night after the meeting. I have spent a good part of the morning on the phone with my staff. Our proposal would be, because 75% or more of our business can be done phone and email, would be to close the doors to the public, function internally. We can still do inspections because those are often in open areas and outdoors where we don't have to worry about confined areas. Have people, we can set up a drop box outside the door that's monitored during business hours where people could drop off their permits and pick permits up. But we can essentially function entirely inside and get permits in and out. We get permits emailed to us. A lot of people use Acela. But the people it would impact are the people that are coming in to know what they need to do to get their deck replaced. But Leonard and I have committed to coming in tomorrow and calling our contractors and the subs and everyone we work with to let them know, if you're comfortable with that for the next 2 weeks, please contact us via phone or email to do business. We can take payments over the phone. We can get applications via email or use a Dropbox system outside.
Great.
So everyone just needs to understand that, especially early on, early next week, people are going to be very upset when they come to the courthouse and they're not able to get in. So we just need to make sure that we have the proper explanation for them. It's a life health safety issue for not only the people that work in the courthouse, but for all the residents of Tillamook County. As I explained last night, there's this bell curve of infections, and it's just very steep. And what this is going to do, it's going to try to lower that bell curve so that we don't have as many people infected in Tillamook County. Are we going to be infected? I can tell you pretty much yes, we will. We want to keep that bell curve as low as possible. So that's the explanation that we need to give to people when they're just irate about not being able to get into the courthouse.
I have a question for Tassie. Besides, why is the candy only in front of Yeah, we do
She
have
pushed
a-
it over in front of you.
Oh, okay. Will this work under state statute? Can you require people to phone in before they come in?
Yes, I can make it work.
Okay. And I think it's the smartest way to go at this point.
Yeah, I'm assuming you'll do a news press release.
Just about
We
that.
can, use
It would be prudent to do two things that'll help everything. Somebody draft a press release and I can push it out to all the press and on my Facebook page and anything else that I can get it on. I'd recommend you also put it obviously on the county website, and then I draft up some talking points to help the people that have to face the public so that it's not an ad lib kind of thing.
Yeah. Rachel, can you kind of read out what we've tentatively came up with so people can kind of get a feel for it?
Yeah, I was working on the press release that we were going to finalize after this meeting in case some other items came up. And it's just speaking to the external piece. There's a HR internal piece that we'll be talking about as well. So we'll distribute it to all county staff when it's completed today, as well as the media. And then I think we could encourage, if departments wanted to post on the closed door, the external departments, but it basically just says that the board executed the resolution today and that the following measures are in effect, and it talks about how the courthouse is closed to the county offices and the public unless the court piece, and we'll wordsmith that. Talks about the north entrance closed coming in through the south, and then it encourages people to call departments before coming in, and then lists all of the offices, including circuit court, and the numbers, so people have that right at their disposal to call. And then it goes through the non-courthouse offices, and says that the library's closed, community development's closed, surveyor's office, public works, and solid waste are closed. Health department's open, parks are open, transfer stations are open. I was unclear about the Pioneer Museum, where that was left.
We're going to close it.
That's closed, okay. And then the fairgrounds?
Don't know yet.
Don't know yet. So it basically just says, this is what the county departments are doing. These are open, these are closed. Here's all the numbers. But county employees are still working, basically, from the public's perspective, but there's some anomalies there. And then it will attach the resolution declaring the state of emergency.
Chris?
So the road department, we can certainly close that front door, but we're open for business as normal. We're going to see the public out there in the fields. About the only thing we can do is put a sign up in the front that says please call. At that point, we're going to go open up the door. We just don't get the foot traffic at the road department.
Okay.
Solid waste.
And that would fall in the,
That's what I'm trying to
specific
understand.
purpose
What
and
is the
appointment.
impact to
Yeah.
the road department? We'll talk about solid waste.
Okay. So I have just another issue. So one thing that press release does not talk about is the sheriff's office, and I think the sheriff needs to weigh in on what you want to do at the sheriff's office.
So,
A little oversight, sorry, Jim.
no, that's okay. Business as usual for our divisions. However, the public access, we'll close the administrative office and parole and probation office, and parole and probation will contact their clients and offenders and inform them of how they should check in. We cannot restrict inmate visitation, so that will continue as normal, but any other sheriff's office business, we'll post a sign to make an appointment by telephone or conduct business over the phone, but offices will be closed.
Drug drop off at the jail.
drug drop-off. That's just
Okay.
inside the public door. So we wouldn't restrict access to the lobby, but if you have any administrative business with the offices, that would be closed. Now, I don't have any control over the state police who share our office, but I would imagine that that'll take some telephone communication with the lieutenant in Newport. I'm not sure what they'll do.
Okay.
And I would also brainstorm, Monday, you guys or I could pull some strings with Shayna and get on the radio.
I've got a 9 o'clock appointment. You want to come with?
If you want me to, I'll be happy
Just a
to.
press thing on the radio.
If you want me there, I'll be there.
Okay.
So back to Chris's question. The
Sorry.
idea was that we're just going to limit the public from coming into your office. And we're limiting the public from all county departments, unless they have an appointment. But we didn't think that we would eliminate you from interacting with the public in the field, because that's impossible.
No, that's fine. I think when that's written is that the solid waste transfer stations will remain open is probably where the biggest key of the people in staff interact at. The road department, we put up a sign, that's not a big deal. But solid waste, need to make sure that they understand that the transfer stations will remain open.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
That's
we're
on
going to
here.
have piles.
Yeah, this
Right,
is
we have that.
basically, the office is closed unless you've made an arrangement.
Okay.
And so
But the transfer stations are
it-
open.
we're going to make it clear that people are still working and available, but just trying to limit that popping into, hey, I want to talk about this, and it's not really urgent.
Yeah, I could see somebody not understanding the difference between the solid waste transfer station and the office.
It's listed specifically. It
Okay.
says Public Works and Solid Waste closed with the clarification, and then transfer stations open.
Okay, that works for me.
We could add the word office. Would you feel better
That
about it?
would work better for me. The transfer stations, it sounds like you've clarified that for me.
Okay, is this clear as mud? So everything is going to be appointment only, basically, is what it boils down to. The offices are open to the public, but it's by appointment only, or in some instances, they're just going to be closed to the public. The library, community development, and some others will just be flat out closed to the public. And most of those transactions can happen via phone or email. So do we need some sort of a motion to do this? Joel, do we need to?
I think it would be a good idea
Okay.
to memorialize the discussion you've just had.
Okay. How in the heck are we going to put that in a motion?
So, Mr. Chair, as discussed in this emergency board meeting, with the help of Rachel Haggerty, since she has it all pretty much written down, I would move that we approve the discussion that we had.
Move approval of our contingency plan?
There you go. I like that.
I second.
Then moved and seconded to approve our contingency plan. Any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Now let's go on to the internal piece. Naomi, did you have anything you wanted to say to start it off, or do you want Rachel to, or?
Either way,
Okay.
just from an HR function, we don't, because most of our applications are online, we don't get a lot of public foot traffic. We do have a few, but it's very rare. It's primarily internal. We do have a new hire orientation that's taking place on Monday. So we will reach out to those candidates and allow them the opportunity to reschedule if they feel comfortable doing so. But we will still have it for those that want to attend, because we definitely want to be able to get them started if they're ready. But as far as working on policies and things of that nature, we've been working on that pretty extensively and have put something out. We do have to have it reviewed. And so that is a little bit of what's taking some time. Anything additional that you feel needs to be added at this point? I think we'll have more information forthcoming at the beginning of early next week. So.
And you did send out the updated employee contact information form.
I did. I
Yeah.
sent that out this morning. Thank you for that reminder. So for anyone, supervisor or in a leadership position that leads people, if you could please just make sure you have current information on them in the event that we do have to close and we need to be able to contact them. Not all employees have email and things at home, so we want to make sure we have current cell phone numbers, and we probably do. We went through this exercise previously, and so we primarily have that, but just in case. And if you can funnel that information back to HR so that we do have all of it in one location, that would be helpful.
Naomi, I have a staff member starting on Monday.
Yes.
I would like him to start at Public Works if possible.
Yes.
Before he comes, I've got a staff meeting at the time the Nahalem crew gets down, we'll start at 7:30.
Okay.
Safety, coronavirus, and other things that I would like him to do the same message going out there. And then send them up your way with a phone call.
Let's talk about that offline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Rachel?
Yeah, I hate to suck up time on this, but since we're working on this afternoon, I wanted to confirm the phone numbers that I have in the press release for folks. Human Resources 3418.
Yes.
I just got these off the website, so I don't know.
I would prefer them to have my cell phone in the event that we're not here.
And that is?
It is 503-812-7767.
7767. Assessor 3400?
Yes.
Clerk 3402?
Yes,
Justice 3416. Joel, is that?
that's correct.
It's just on the website.
Yes. We transfer there all the time.
How
yeah.
quickly we forget, Joel.
Circuit Court 2596. Juvenile 2417.
3417.
Veterans 4358. Parks. Do you want a number for the transfer station, Chris?
I have multiple numbers for transfer stations. Which one would you like first?
I don't.
How about we just send them to the Public Works main? and
That's
then
fine.
Deviate from there.
Okay, 3419.
3419.
Sheriff's Office
3330.
3330. Library.
1700.
Community Development. Did you want the 08 number or is it a different?
Nope, that's perfect. And all of our inspections are called in over phone already, so there's no other change.
2423.
3423.
3423.
Rachel, let me back off of that because that's for public consumption, which I don't mind people having my cell phone. My concern is on the internal pieces. I should probably have my cell phone, not necessarily for the public, just
Yeah.
because if our office is closed, I want people to be able to reach me. So disregard. It should be the 3418.
Treasurer.
3425.
That is it. Thank you.
Okay. Any further business?
One other, if I may. So again, even though we are enacting these modifications to our operating procedures, things are changing so rapidly every day. Everything that we've done here is subject to revision as we move forward. So everyone just needs to understand that.
And
If, I had thought on my Nixle, are you the one that puts the stuff on there, like her press release?
I take what is provided and add it to the website.
If you shoot me an email when it's on there, what I'll do is send out a Nixle also that says courthouse modifying, see the website. That'll hit even more people.
And what's the appetite for an 8 o'clock meeting Monday morning? Probably be all department heads and electeds again at 8 o'clock, just to kind of go over everything, and by that time we will have maybe changed the plan again. Who knows?
That's one of the things. So, as department heads and elected officials here, I'm hoping all the information that you're gleaning from this meeting, you passing that on to all of your staff. It's important. So, and if they have any questions, they can always come to us, or Rachel or Joel or whoever, Naomi, and we can try to clarify if they have questions. But again, this is a very fluid situation. Things are changing very rapidly.
And if you have a lead on rumor control, because there's a lot of them going around, if you shoot it to me, I'll try to chase it down and end it if I can, because misinformation is worse than no information.
So with you saying that, last night, someone said they heard there was 9 confirmed cases in Tillamook County. And I said, I just left a meeting at 5:30 today. Health department people were sitting in the room and they said nothing of that.
Tell them to go to OHA website. They post them, well, not
And
as
their
soon as.
response will be, they're lying. How about if the commissioners shut off the internet?
Okay.
At least the comments.
We'll take that into consideration.
Start with Facebook.
So with that, oh, go ahead, Mary Faith, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I just wanted to say that part of our overarching goal for the community, we want to protect you, of course, and your staff, and by extension, your families, because if any of us are exposed and infected, we'll take it home to our families, we'll share it in our offices. We want to protect all of you. We also want to protect the community and help them protect themselves, encourage them to stay home. We really want to protect the most vulnerable people in our community because I would expect all of us to survive this virus, but there are certainly a lot of people in the community who might not. And we want, if at all possible, to prevent a medical surge event, because if a whole bunch of people get really sick all at once and need ICU, we don't have the capacity to serve a lot of people in that way. And so if we can, like Commissioner Yamamoto was talking about, cut off flatten the curve, then we want the hospital to be able to provide the best possible care to people when they need it, and they only have 2 ICU beds here. And that's not unusual. They're throughout the state. This isn't just Tillamook County, but of course we live here, so this is what we're concerned about. But throughout the state, we lack the ICU beds that will be required if the curve continues at its current rate. So that's what we're trying to do, is just slow it down, flatten it out, keep people safe, and it's extraordinary times and these are extraordinary measures, so thank you all very much for participating.
We got to protect the boomers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I remembered another, by the way, I got a message from Oregon Emergency Management who has reached out to the hand cleaner people, the factories themselves. There's 3 major ones. One of them says they're out and they don't know when they're going to get more. The other 2 said they're working feverishly to build the capacity. So everybody's out now. I'm pretty sure that whatever stock anybody had is exhausted. But 2 of the 3 major manufacturers are indeed working on getting more out there, which obviously is in their best interest.
But the bad news is all 3 are in China.
And don't forget, you can make your own. I haven't done it yet, but I've got all the thousands of ingredients you require, which is the alcohol and the aloe, so it's easy to make.
And I may have just misspoken about 2 ICU beds here in town because I haven't talked to them about it lately. They might have 4, I don't know, but please don't quote me on that. But it's not very many.
They may have 4 instead of 2.
I want to say thank you very much for, after we talked yesterday, that you called the meeting yesterday, the meeting for today and Monday. I appreciate that we're communicating and getting ahead of it together.
Yeah, we're a team. And
Means a lot.
If you've got departments and you've got your own thoughts on things, share them with us because we'll incorporate it into what we're doing. It might be good for all departments. Everybody's got their own ideas as to moving forward. And we've got a few things internally that we'll be working on with HR as far as hand washing and collecting cash and a few of those items that are going to go into a policy. And I'm not sure if this is through HR or if this will be us, but we're going to cancel all committee meetings, all non-essential committee meetings within the county and a few other things. And that'll all come out probably Monday. We'll have a better idea of where we're headed. But the main thing is to keep people safe, employees, and then the old people like me. Okay? Thank you. Because Tillamook County's, we're an older community. There's a lot of retirees here. So we need to respect them and try to keep it safe for them. With that, unless there's any other questions, we will adjourn this meeting at 2:35. I want to thank everybody for coming. Probably.
You bet.
So it looks like your candy went.